there, welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. I'm so glad you decided to watch my channel today. So, what are we going to make today? We're going to make a watermelon wreath. Yes, my little girl asked me for one, and I'm going to grant her wish. So, I'm going to take some mesh, some ribbon, and some pipe cleaners, and we're going to cut a frame in half, and we're going to make a watermelon. As you heard me in the clip before this, I am making a watermelon wreath. And the story about this is we were in the car last night, and my friend Michelle had sent me a picture of a wreath she made, and we were talking via Bluetooth, and the kids really liked the picture that Michelle had sent. And Madeline said to me, "Mommy, I think you should make a watermelon wreath." So per my 9-year-old's request, we're making a watermelon wreath. I've never made one before. I've seen lots of fabulous watermelon wreaths in my Facebook group called Wreath Creators and More. The link is in the description box below if you'd like to join us there. But we're going to do it, and I'm going to give my own spin on it, guys. So I'm going to use my lollipop petal, and we're going to use these two different colors, I believe, of poly burlap. They came out with this like emerald green back before Christmas, and so I've had this in my stash a while. I'm not sure if I want to use the poly burlap or if I want to use the striped fabric mesh. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to see what I like a little bit better. I've got some ribbon because I'd like to hang it with some ribbon, and I'm going to try to use these little pipe cleaners for the seeds. So I got a 16-inch wreath form here from Hobby Lobby. You can grab these at Michael's and Joann's as well. And I might have a link for a place called Create for Less that you can get them there like in bulk. But I also like this plastic canvas that you can get from like Trendy Tree and from the Reshop, because it's a lot stiffer of a piece of canvas than you can typically get at like Hobby Lobby or even Joann's. So let's get started on the next step, and we'll put our frame together. Okay, so the first step is we need to make a base for our wreath. So we're going to take a 16-inch wreath frame. Really, any kind of wreath frame, you can make this smaller, you can make this bigger. I know that they sell even 18-inch wreath frames, but we just want to make sure that we have something that has brackets halfway through the circle, okay, that we can cut. Now, I do know, and I haven't been able to see this at my Dollar Tree, but if you've been able to see the rainbow wreath frames at Dollar Tree, let me know in the description box below, and let me know what state you're in. I'd be interested in knowing like what areas of the country are getting the rainbow wreath forms, because here in Michigan, I haven't seen them yet. So, and if you're in Michigan and you've seen the rainbow wreath form, let me know where in Michigan. So, because I don't have one of those rainbow wreaths, I'm going to cut on the right side of that bracket, okay? And I'm just going to use my wire cutters here. I've been having a hard time with my hand. There we go. With my hands lately, and so I can't do as much. I don't have as much strength in them, but as you can see, this still cuts pretty good. So I'm just going to cut it one more time. I'm going to kind of use the table as leverage. There we go. I know that was kind of loud. I'm sorry. So I'm going to cut that side, and I'm going to cut this side. Okay, so once you get that cut, and it's important to have that bracket to be the ending, okay? So that's really important. I'm going to take the mesh here, and I want to try to keep everything going the right way. So I'm going to look at this mesh here, the plastic canvas. This is like a 5 count, but this will just you can use a 7 count if you want, but make sure you have really thin, what I want to call it. Make sure you have really thin zip ties, because you're going to need to get it through the mesh, okay? So I'm going to draw a line here, and then I don't want it to come over here. I want it to stop. So I'm just going to draw a line there, and then I'm going to draw here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to just use my zip ties and attach it to the inside of that frame, okay? And then I'll be right back. Okay, so the next step I want you to do is I buy my felt by the yard, and you can get it at places anywhere where they sell fabric. They usually will have felt by the yard. So I usually get in all sorts of colors so that I'm good to go when I need to make a wreath. So since I had some of this pink, I'm just going to cut this, and you could just trace this out if you want to. This is a little loose, okay? And but I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow of my actual frame that I made here, and then I'm just gonna go all the way around, and then we'll be ready to start the body of the wreath. Okay, so I decided to go with a 10-inch poly burlap. You can use mesh, it's really up to you. The only thing that you might need to do is you might need to double up on your layers just so that you don't see the bottom of your wreath frame, okay? So that's kind of key here. We don't want to see the bottom of that wreath frame. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your rotary cutter. I don't need to use my wood burner for this one. And I'm just going to simply cut 10-inch pieces here, okay? And then we're going to do the lollipop petal, okay? And I call it a lollipop because it reminds me of a lollipop. That's really the only reason. So you're going to just make a triangle, and you're going to, in your mind, you're going to have 3 sections, 1, 2, and 3, okay? So what I like to do is I like to pinch the first section here. There's section 1, section 2, and then pinch another third, and I come together like so, and then I just bring the sides down, okay? And then you're just going to go, and you're going to just kind of make it the shape you want. You can make it rounder, you can make it more cupped, you can do whatever you want to do, okay? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it on the top row here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it, or not cut it, we're going to add it to this frame. I don't want to go too far because we're going to have the rind of our flower, or I'm not making a flower, I'm making a watermelon. I am so into the water, or into the flowers, aren't I? So let me grab some zip ties here. So I'm going to just add a zip tie and lay it on my frame like so. And I'm just going to be, basically, we're just going to be attaching the pink on all of this plastic canvas. Okay. So we're going to do that. All right, so how am I going to get rid of this? I'm going to show you with my tool. This is a tool I've told you guys about before, and I've showed you, and they're in my Amazon shop. There's like several different kinds. Now, it just cuts it just grabs that mesh, and as you can see, I didn't get the whole thing there. That's okay with my zip tie. It'll be just fine. It's very sharp. The mechanism is like a blade, and they have more blades in the handle for most of those. And then I'm just going to cut this off, and we're going to make another piece of our watermelon. So this time we're going to do something, we're going to add a little something here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my little, I also think of what is it, a jellyfish or something when I make these too. So, all right, so I've got that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these black pipe cleaners, okay, and I'm going to fold it down, and I'm going to add it right in there, okay, and I'm going to put it down in there so that it's just a little bit is showing through, and that's going to be our seed, okay. So we're going to take another zip tie here, and I'm going to do this like every other petal. So if I'm going to put this one, I want to keep it pretty straight, so I'm going to add it right here. You don't want to go too high, all right? And if you wanted to, you could cut your pipe cleaners in half, because I'm not going to use all of that. Okay, but that way, a little bit of a seed, we start our seeds. And you could put the little black pipe cleaners in all of them. I'm just going to kind of like have them go every other petal here. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. So it's really up to you. And then I probably should hold this the right way. It might help. You could also it's a little trickier because I had that pipe cleaner in there. You could also, if you wanted to make a petal, you know, combine it at the end, put this on and then put it on with another zip tie, so you could have like pre-make your petals, use the 4-inch zip ties, and then put them on with the 8-inch zip ties. It's really up to you whether or not you want to take that extra step. I don't like to take the extra step, so I'm just going to keep doing this. So basically I'm going to keep doing the same technique here. Make your lollipop petal, okay? And I'm going to try to make sure that they're about the same. You know, I want everything to be really consistent here, okay? And then I'm going to lay that one. I'm going to probably maybe layer the one that has the seed a little bit over the two. And I'm just going to keep going until we get our first row of petals done. And then I will come back and I'll show you how to do the second row. Okay, so we had the first line. We used 7 petals on the first one. We started about 2 inches down, so you can see the nice neat back, okay? So how are we going to do the next one? I want to do about 7 more petals because I do want to keep it an odd number so that our little seeds are every other one. So I'm going to just kind of, basically, I told you how you could just make the petals ahead of time and have them ready to go, and that's what I did for a few of these. So I'm just going to start like right down below this next one here, and you're just going to do it enough so that it will cover the zip tie, okay? So we want everything to be covered and to come together nicely. Now, if you don't want to use zip ties, you could use pipe cleaners here. If that's what your preferred method, use the pipe cleaners. It's really not a big deal. But so I started with a seeded petal first. I know I'm calling them petals, we're making a watermelon, but we're still using a petal. So I'm just going to take another one and go down below the next one here. And I always like to keep the same line too, so that we keep everything nice and the direction it should be going. So all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just add these petals, and like I said before, this time I'm going to start with the seeded one and then the non-seeded one and go back and forth until I get down to here, and we'll have 7 here, 7 here, and then we'll start on our next layer. It might be the final layer, I'm not sure, but I think it will be. So I'll keep going. Okay, so we have our 2 layers of our petals here, as you can see. We use 14 so far, and basically I'm going to use another 7, I believe, down here. Do I have 7? Yeah, I have 7. So basically what I'm going to do something slightly different. Is I'm going to put this at an angle, and I'm going to take this petal and I'm going to pinch it. And what you could do is you could take a little zip tie, or you could even take a stapler and you could staple this, okay? So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to run it through 3 of the pieces so that it creates a flatter side on one end there, okay? I know I always say, you guys, can you hear my elephants? I can hear my elephants. They're upstairs. It's summertime. So, but what I wanted it to do is I want to have like a curve over here. So I'm going to place this one here, and then I'm going to place one with the little seed right there, and then I'm going to put it down just a little bit lower than that first one. So the first one we're going to have it come up a little bit and kind of at an angle. And that's what we're going to do. Then I want this one to kind of go over top of this one, but yet stay underneath this one. Does that make sense? So we're going to go down just a little bit. So as you can see, they're different lengths, but that's okay. And I'm just going to keep repeating this process until we have all of this covered up. Let's see, I think I need one more. Oops. Like so. And when I get over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pinch it and I'm going to zip tie it so that it can be a little bit, and actually let's go ahead and put that one on right now. So as I'm looking at this, let's just go ahead and put this on. Let's make this one a little flatter on one side by doing this. Like I said, if you have like a little stapler, you could do that too. I just don't have one handy right here. You know, like what you staple paper together with. So I'm kind of like make sure that it kind of lines up right here. There we go. If you haven't gotten on my email list, there is a link down below. I have like just before I filmed this, I filmed on how to reduce the fraying with your wreaths. And that's something I'm going to probably send out on my blog. But you need to get on that email list so that you'll see it when it comes out. I'm not sure exactly when or how, but it will be coming out soon. Okay, so make sure you click on the link down below. I just want to make sure that we still see that little seed. And if you wanted to put a seed in each of these petals, go right ahead. I'm being a little, you know, I didn't want to put too many, but I could see the point where it would be a lot easier if you put the little seeds with the pipe cleaners in each one beforehand, and then you wouldn't have to worry about having an odd number of petals. You could just fill it up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start working on the rind part of our wreath. Okay, so we have our, like, the watermelon, the fruit part of our watermelon done. I used total of 21 petals for that. So now I'm going to get out this lime green poly burlap. Again, you could use deco mesh, you could use fabric mesh. Don't limit yourself to just what I'm doing. I will provide as many links as I can in the description box below where you can purchase this. It depends on the time of year and how much people have stock in, but I wanted to kind of share this with you today because my little girl requested it. And I thought, for years, I thought, oh, I need to make a watermelon wreath, and I just have never done it. So here we go. So I'm going to get out my Dollar Tree basket here. I've showed this to you guys before. I'm so fancy here. So fancy. Yeah, right. And I'm going to put my dowel through. Okay, so this is going to hold my mesh, right? So actually, I'm going to switch this over here. And the reason why I'm going to put this in here is I just didn't want my mesh going every which direction. So basically, we need to start it on the underneath side of our wreath, okay? And then we will bring it over and we're going to make little bubbles, okay? So you're going to grab your mesh and you're going to gather it, okay? Because we want to make it a nice and even like roll it under a little bit, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take it, we're going to flip this over, and we're going to start it out by taking a zip tie, and I'm going to just like put it underneath here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two at the same time here, 2 steps. So I'm going to have it right here, I'm going to hold it, and then I'm going to bring it over. And we are going to connect, if you look at bar 1, 2, 3, we're going to work on bar 3, okay? And like I said, I want to keep this pretty solid here. Pretty simple. And so what I want to do is I'm going to attach it. And you know what? Let me go do this again. I'm going to run this through the third one here. Okay, I'm trying to do too many things at once, all right? But I want to only use one zip tie to capture the back of it and the front of it, okay? If that makes any sense. Let me know in the comments. Am I making sense? Am I... That's my goal. I want you guys to understand what I'm doing so that you feel confident to do what you need to do. Okay, so there we go. There's the first one, all right? So we're going to take that. And this part, if you would find it easier to use, like a green Chenille stem, do that. So I'm going to just take this and I'm going to measure about, let's try 6 inches, what 6 inches looks like. And we're just going to kind of layer it over top because we don't want the zip tie to show, okay? So I'm going to take another zip tie. I'm going to go under. I just find it easier to attach the zip tie on top then flipping this over and under, you know, on ourselves, okay? All right. All right, so there you go. So you can't really see it. But what you can do is you can cut this, and then you can roll that zip tie down, okay? So the head of the zip tie went that way. All right, so let's, again, you're gonna take about 6 inches, and we're gonna just make a little bubble, okay? And you're gonna keep doing this until we get to the other side of the wreath, and you are going to do the same thing that we did on this side. We're going to attach it underneath the wreath to make sure we're not showing anything, okay? So I'm just gonna keep doing this simple step here, and I'm just going to keep going. And okay, we're having one of those moments. I want to interrupt and show you what I had to do because I don't want you to have the same issues, okay? So when I got to the bottom, okay, of this part of the wreath, we had a lot more stuff to hide, okay? So instead of concentrating on connecting onto the 3rd bar, I moved it up, and I connected it to actually like the 4th bar and on the plastic canvas. So I just wanted to kind of come back, show you what I did. I'm still doing the same thing. Doing about 6 inches is what I'm seeing that happens to be the best for the loops. And I'm just gonna keep going. So I just wanted to kind of interrupt and show you what I did. This is called the emerald green poly burlap. So we're gonna do the same thing we did here. We're going to start it on the back, and we're going to focus on connecting it. Let's see if we can do it on the outer rim of the wreath form here. So you know how sometimes watermelon has 2 different colors of green, a lighter color and a darker color? That's what we're doing here, okay? So you're gonna just take your zip tie, and oh, I think I'm gonna do this one on the back here. I ended up that one on the back over there, because we're just gonna go on the outside here. All right, I'm gonna do that really quick. Clip this, and then I'm just going to push that zip tie in. Now remember, we've already cut a piece of felt to cover the back of this so that it'll finish it off really nice. So I'm just gonna cut these little strands here, okay? And we're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna take about 6 inches. You're gonna keep it as tight as you can. And you're just going to add as many loops as you feel like you need, going all the way down. And then you can always take this and you can like pull and make it fuller. Does that make sense? But we want to just make sure we have enough. So I'm going to just do this same technique that I just showed you to do here, all the way around and end it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to put our finishing touches on it. Okay, so I put it out, but when I hold it up like this, I can see gaps. So let me tell you what I'm going to do. So I started it, let's look at the back so I can kind of explain myself. So I started it on this outside wreath bar. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the ones that I started on the outside, and I'm going to move it into that bar too. You can see how I did it up here, because again, when we got to this area, the wreath kind of went up a little bit, the other parts of the wreath. So I know you're probably like, Julie, how can you not get this together? Guys, this is real life. I don't have the time in my week to make a wreath and figure it out and then shoot a video. So we shoot it as we go. I hope you guys understand. But I want you to learn from my mistakes is my point, because, and I talked about this in the last video, you're going to run up against some hurdles, and so we need to rethink, how can I fix it? So I don't want to waste the mesh that I've already put here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to cut this one, and I don't know why, I think these are finally getting dull after like 3 years of using them. And I remembered I had some colored zip ties I found, and I'm just going to move that piece underneath here, and I'm going to use this green zip tie. And I know you can't find, I literally found this in the Amish country in Indiana last summer, and it was a pack of different colors, like primary colors. So I thought, I'm just going to see if I can make that work, because they are smaller zip ties. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm not going to take this all off and do it, I'm just going to take each one and I'm going to move them. So I will do that, and we will come back and look at it again. Okay, so I fixed my little mistake. So at this point, you're just going to, if you have some gaps or whatever, just simply go through and you can open up that mesh to kind of fill in those gaps, okay? And if you can see any zip ties, that way we're gonna just kind of like, you know, fill in those spots. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a 1.5-inch ribbon, and I will leave links, if I can, to the ribbons that I'm going to use today. I know, for instance, I believe this came from the Wreath shop, but I'm not sure right off the top of my head. So basically what I want to do is I'm going to attach, what we'll do is we'll attach this ribbon first, and then we'll go ahead and put the backing on this and be done with this part of the wreath. So I'm just going to take a zip tie here. And again, you could use much, let me see, I've got a smaller one here. Here we go. And I'm just going to attach it on the grid itself, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to develop, or we're going to make a hanger out of our ribbon itself. And I've got a lot of things around me, and I'm trying to figure out, where did I put everything? Okay, so I'm just going to push the head of that zip tie down. So I'm going to move my wreath here, and I'm wanting to kind of like, basically what we're going to do is we're going to make the zip tie bow, but we're going to use this to hang. Can you see how I'm doing that? So I'm just kind of looking at it to see where I want it. And I think that's probably a good length right there. So actually, let's make this a little shorter. I think I want it a little bit shorter. We don't need it that tall. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So that was about 12 inches, 10 to 12 inches in length there. So I'm going to take another zip tie, get one of the little ones again, Julie, and add it right here. So in the comments, I don't know, I think there's a watermelon emoji. Now, I know that not everybody can leave an emoji because you're not on a phone. You're not always on a phone watching these videos. And if you're on a computer, just write the word watermelon. That's what I always ask. If you've watched till the end of the video, so I'm going to ask for a watermelon. Okay, so that feels pretty strong. So I feel confident that that will stay. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke holes. Let's see, where's my little sharp scissors? I always tell you guys about these scissors, and then I'm always searching for them. I'm going to poke holes like right here. It's all about how you go through with this. So I'm going to go underneath here. I'm going to go through the mesh. Come on, you can do it. See, there we go. There we go. Okay. So because I went through that way underneath, now I can push that underneath. Okay. So basically, and then I'll do it on this side. I'll add one here, and I'll just go through and put the felt all the way around. I'll put a few zip ties up there, and then that way the back of your wreath will look really nice. So I'm going to finish that up, and then we're going to start on our bow. I promise this time. Okay, so now we're going to make a zip tie bow is what I like to call it. I'm going to show you the back here. I think it went on really nicely, and none of the zip ties are going to be showing to, you know, hurt your door or anything. So we're going to place this over here to the side, and we're just going to make just an easy bow. I love this bow. It's so easy to do. You're going to have about 10 inches for your tails, and that's okay because we're going to trim them up anyways, let's be honest, okay? So I'm going to gather, I have 10 inches there, and then I'm going to take another 10 inches and I'm going to gather and bring it together, okay? So there's one. Let's do another. Measure out to 10 inches, gather and bring it back, okay? So let's do another loop, another 10 inches, and I'm just twisting and bringing it back to the middle here, and that's all you're gonna do. Pretty simple. I'm gonna come back. All right, so there's two bows or two loops on each side, all right? You're just gonna hold on to that, all right? So I'm going to add, we're going to add one more set of loops so that we'll have 3 and 3. So another 10 inches. I come back in the middle here. And my ribbon's getting a little, and we're come back. Okay. So I'm going to cut this another 10 inches, just about, oops. Probably not my sharpest scissors. I need to get some different ones. All right. And then you're just going to twist everything so everything is facing up. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a zip tie. And this is why I call it the zip tie bow. And I'm just going to zip tie it together. Yeah. Okay. So before I put that all the way together, I'm going to grab, I need to go get a pipe cleaner that's going to match this. So hold on. Okay, so I just went, I had to go to the back room. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, since I know I'm going to use this to connect it to the wreath, and put it underneath that zip tie, okay? So that you've got something to attach it to. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it to the side. The next part, usually I would do the bigger green, but I think I'm going to use the smaller green. I'm going to do something a little different. Let's just do this. And we're going to create 3 loops out of this one. So I'm going to do, again, 10 inches again. You're going to mimic exactly what you did here. You're going to do this. So I'm going to make this, and I'm going to add it to that, and I'll come back to when I do it, because I'm just doing the same steps. Okay, so I have it, and now I'm going to just zip tie it on top of that one. And again, once we get all of these, you can clip off the zip ties and have just the one connecting all of them. This is just an easy way for me to do it, and that's just a way to do it. Now, if I was going to use a bow maker, I would use Pro Bow the hand. I'm going to do these just a little bit different, a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm going to have 10 inches about, and then I'm going to make this 8 inches. Okay, and then we're going to come through. And now I'm only going to make 4 loops all together. So I'm going to measure another 8 inches. And I come back to the middle there. All right, and you're just going to twist it. That's the key there, just twisting it. Twisting it the right direction. All right. I like this ribbon. It's nice and really easy to work with. All righty, let's see. We're almost done. All right. And then we're going to twist it, and we're going to have our tail. And I'm going to grab a different pair of scissors because the stuff that I got out is pretty sad. Okay. Some old scissors. All right, so now I'm going to just put that one on top here. And I'm going to put one more zip tie, okay? And then I'm going to show you how we're going to get rid of the other zip ties. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to keep track of which one this one is, all right? All right, all right. So you see we still have our pipe cleaner there. It's still there. So we're going to just... And then you can just take your clippers here if you want to. You don't have to do this part. And you can get rid of the other 2 zip ties. if you feel like it's too bulky, okay? So now you're just going to play with your ribbon and you're just going to fluff it out, and then you're going to trim the tails whatever way that you want. Okay, so we've got our ribbon here. Take the existing pipe cleaner here, and if you want, I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner and just kind of go around that zip tie. I'm going to go around it once, go around it one more time, just bring it up here. And I think that'll be a nice little touch, okay? I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's what I did. So, and then I'll just twist it here and then cut off the excess. Alrighty, I love the colors, they're so vibrant. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just add it to this. So basically you're just going to make a loop, okay? And then you're gonna take your bow and you're just simply going to go around it. All right, so that'll be the loop that it hangs on. So let me flip this over. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. Just twist, twist, twist it under there so that the wires are going towards it and not towards the door, okay? So let's just look at that. And when you get it hanging up on the door, you might wanna just, you know, trim these up a little bit. I'll see once I get it hung up how I like it, and I might just trim it up just ever so slightly. But this is what I came up with. I hope you guys like it. I'll be fluffing that bow just a little bit more and I will have a better picture here. And you're just gonna go through, and if you see any gaps, you're just going to, like what I said, you're just gonna pull apart the burlap. So I might cut it just a little bit because I want you to see the scalloped edge of that. So I'm gonna cut these probably another inch or so. And I am really, I like it. I hope my little girl likes it. I hope you enjoyed it, to learn how to make something a little different, a little fun. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Again, thank you for your time. Make sure to subscribe, click that notification bell, follow me on Facebook, join my groups, and let's have a lot of fun making wreaths together. So until next time, we'll see you in Julie's Wreath Boutique. Bye-bye.